first briefly share 2 performance myths, and then I'll get into a little bit deeper on 2 pitfalls to avoid. So the first myth is that poor performance is due to a lack of competence. The second myth is that poor behavior is due to a bad attitude. And the truth is that it's rare that bad performance is due to either a lack of competence or a bad attitude. Instead, it's usually due to either unclear or uncommunicated expectations or a lack of training or skills. And these 2 things will also come up in the 2 pitfalls that I'll talk about. So the first pitfall is focusing on personality or character traits. And this is also called a fundamental attribution error. And a fundamental attribution error is when we believe someone's behaviors reflect who they are. For example, when we label someone as a flake because they're late for meetings. So instead of focusing on the specific behavior, we tend to focus on the person's personality or character traits and then label them. And to prevent us from falling into this trap, we need to remember to focus on behaviors, avoid labeling, because when we label someone, this actually creates a belief that the person cannot change. So instead, we should focus on the behavior and then give candid feedback around the behavior. And this gives the person the opportunity to correct the behavior. So that's the first pitfall to avoid. And the second one is the self-fulfilling prophecy. So a self-fulfilling prophecy is when we make a prediction based on our beliefs, and then we alter our behavior based on that prediction, which causes the prediction to then come true.
Right.
So our prediction causes us to act in ways that directly or indirectly bring about the consequence we expect. And I have an example to help this point. So actually a couple examples from both sides. So first, if we believe someone has great potential and we predict that they will do well, we're more likely to give them more of our support. We may take them under our wings, give them more opportunities to grow and develop. And so thus our actions are more likely to lead them to then meet that expectation.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if you're aware of Malcolm Gladwell's book. What's it called? Outliers. But he actually laid out a really compelling case for how much of success is determined by just kind of luck. And then what you're talking about, like he gave an example of, if you look at most all-star athletes, like for baseball, for instance, they're all born in the same 3 months. And it just so happens it's the 3 months that make them about a year older than everyone else when they start Little League. Yep. And so from a very early age, they get, like you said, they're a little bit bigger and stronger and faster than the other team members. So they appear better, right? And then the coaches give them a little bit more attention, and it just sets them off on a course for success.
Yep, absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of good research backing up what you're suggesting here, that initial perception can help you, will to a large extent determine how you're going to shape somebody's success, right?
Yeah, and I want to share the other side of it. So say a team member makes a mistake early on, we may believe that they're not competent enough for the job and predict that they're going to be a poor performer. And then this belief may cause us to distrust, micromanage the person, and then maybe also less likely to give them growth and development opportunities. And I've seen this happen, and it actually caused, and actually I had an experience of this myself, where I had a supervisor who sort of like had low expectations of me, and my confidence just went way down. And then I basically met that expectation. So our behaviors and actions are likely to impact a person's self-confidence. And then if their confidence is low, they may be less willing to take initiative or to take risks, which then further, causes some low performance behaviors. And it's really that their behavior is a reaction to our behavior, and they show up as we expect them to. So I actually have a personal example of this. So a few years ago, I had a new person assigned to my team. We'll call him Bill. So before being assigned to my team, Bill had worked on other teams in my office. And I had a couple of his prior supervisors because we would rotate teams. So I had other supervisors who came to me and said, or just let me know, hey, by the way, Bill's got some performance issues. So at this point in my career, though, I felt confident in the team leadership skills that I had been practicing, and decided that, you know what, I'm just going to treat Bill as I would any of my other team members. I'm just going to kind of forget what his supervisors shared about him. Bill had actually been at the organization longer than I had, and I knew that he knew how to do the work. He knew how to do his job. So I had confidence in him, and I told him I did, and I set the same expectations for him that I did for everybody else. And in my words and my actions, Bill knew that I was confident in his abilities, and he knew what was expected of him. And guess what? In the end, he did perform well. He met my expectations. He was a great producer. He did great work. And I also saw, while he worked for me, his confidence increase, his level of engagement in the organization and in the team increase. And so this experience reinforced to me this leadership approach to treat every single one of my team members as if they have the potential to be a high performer. And maybe it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, it's better to sort of err on the side of, this person's going to be a high performer than the other.